Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Honorable Puneet Talwar, Assistant Secretary for Political Military Affairs, and the Honorable John F. Kerry, Secretary of State.
Good morning, and thank you all for being here as we highlight the State Department's work to reduce the threat posed by landmines around the world. We're very happy to be joined by someone who I've had the privilege of working with for nearly 20 years, from my time on the staff of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, then at the White House, and now here at the State Department. For over a decade, Secretary Kerry has been a leader in American efforts to clear landmines worldwide. In 1999, he stood beside President Clinton in Hanoi as the United States committed to helping Vietnam clear landmines. 15 years later, as Secretary of State, he not only discusses this issue at the leader-to-leader level in Vietnam and the Solomon Islands and elsewhere, he also has taken the time to meet with the victims of landmines in Southeast Asia, in Africa, and in South America. Thanks to his leadership as Secretary, we've redoubled our efforts and made tremendous progress that you will hear about today. We're especially grateful that he has taken the time out of his very busy schedule to draw our attention to an issue that I know he cares deeply about. Ladies and gentlemen, Secretary of State John Kerry.
Puneet, thank you, man. It's a lot of years. Puneet, thank you very, very much. That's a lot of years you and I have been journeying together. And as Puneet said, I did get to know him pretty well when he worked on the Hill for then Senator Joe Biden and the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. And I'm really pleased he's over here now. Puneet has never shied away from taking on the tough issues. We were just talking about Iran, which he was greatly focused on when he was working on the National Security Council. And I'm very, very happy that he's come over here to take on this important bureau and the mission of this bureau. I also want to welcome Perry Baltimore, the Marshall Legacy Institute, and all of our NGO partners who are here with us today. Thank you for being here with us, Dog included. All of you, men, women, and canines, are on the ground carrying out the day-to-day vital work of demining. And I understand you're going to see a little demonstration from our friend over here. I don't know where she went, but anyway, I got a photograph with her, so I feel like great. But you're going to see a mine detection demonstration in action. And as many of you know, I have my yellow lab upstairs frequently here. And given what's happened to my furniture at home, I don't think he's ready for prime time like the dogs you're going to get to see today. But today we are really, really pleased to be here carrying out the legacy work of war and the legacy work of conflict. And the report that we are issuing today, the release of our 13th annual To Walk the Earth in Safety report, this details the efforts to rid the world of the lasting impacts of landmines and other deadly remnants of war. I personally can remember the impact, the lethality of landmines from the time when I was serving as a naval officer in Vietnam. And every day we heard stories about or talked with soldiers who were on the ground facing this, or on occasion when we were on the ground, had to maintain a vigilant watch on the riverbanks and canals of the Mekong Delta for floating mines and mines that had been planted in the fish stakes of the rivers that we had to pass through, or often in the villages. And we looked for anti-personnel mines hidden in discarded sea rations, sometimes booby traps that were made from old artillery shells, stuffed with explosives and wrapped in wax and bamboo. And on occasion, we were hit by underwater mines, which were exploded remotely during the time when we would pass through. So I learned something about the insidious nature of these instruments of battle. But what makes landmines a humanitarian concern for all of us now is that they plague innocent men, women, and particularly children, decades after soldiers laid down their weapons and leaders made peace. And these weapons can lay dormant for years, many people obviously not even knowing they're present, and then innocent people wind up being killed or maimed without a moment's warning. I have visited, as Puneet said, with those kids in Cambodia and elsewhere. Courageous kids whose whole lives are ahead of them, not even in a conflict at the moment, and suddenly double amputees and facing extraordinary hardship. The battle against these and other lasting remnants of war is critical. And in 2013, I'm proud to tell you that fewer people were killed and injured by mines and other explosive remnants of war than in any other year since the turn of the century. And the United States, we can proudly say, has played a very important role in this. Since 1993, we have been a leading contributor to the international demining efforts, providing more than $2.3 billion in assistance to over 90 countries in order to deal with this. We've helped clear former minefields so that preschools can be built in Sri Lanka. With our assistance, children once tethered to trees so that they wouldn't wander out into the killing fields now pass through large areas of countryside without fear in Angola. And we've helped 15 countries, from Honduras to Tunisia to Rwanda, to declare themselves free from the impact of landmines. Americans should be proud of these accomplishments because we have played a key role in bringing them about. And we should all hold our heads high, knowing that through the work that we have engaged in, we have made a measurable difference in the lives of millions of people. But much work still remains to be done, including regarding our own stockpiles. In September, President Obama brought us one step closer to the goal of a world free from anti-personnel landmines when he announced that the United States would no longer use anti-personnel landmines outside of those that are placed in a defensive position in the Korean Peninsula. He also declared that we will begin destroying our anti-personnel landmine stockpiles not required for the defense of South Korea. Last year in Bogota, I witnessed firsthand the work being done by the United States and our international partners in government and civil society. I met with soldiers and police officers wounded by mines that were left during Colombia's bloody conflict. I actually wound up engaging in a sitting volleyball game with some of them and was amazed at their energy and dexterity with which they would move around and carry on a pretty lively sports competition. Many of the men and women that I met that day had lost limbs and bore the scars of the explosions of mines that changed their lives forever. No one should suffer that fate. No human being should be afraid to go out and fetch firewood. No traveler should fear to just wander down a hillside path. No mother should worry that her child is going to run around and play, but might be blown up and never to return safely from school or from an afternoon of innocent frolicking. 53 years ago, President Kennedy set for our nation the goal of sending a man to walk on the moon. We did that. Today, we reaffirm our resolve to help all people everywhere to be able to walk safely right here on Earth. So I thank you for your commitment to this really important endeavor. Not a lot of people know this is going on. That's one of the reasons we're issuing this report and why we wanted to gather today. We can celebrate an enormous amount of progress and recommit ourselves to the task ahead, and I'm confident that with your good help, we will rid this planet of landmines. Now I turn the proceedings over to Assistant Secretary Talwar, and I know he's going to be prepared to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So thanks very much, Mr. Secretary. And I'm happy to take a few questions, after which we'll get to a great demonstration from a mine detection dog team, courtesy of the Marshall Legacy Institute. So again, happy to take any questions that you all have right now. And if not, we can go straight to the dog team.
Please be sure to identify yourself and your affiliation.
Great. All right. That was easy. Maybe I shouldn't have advertised the dog team, but why don't we go? Why don't we go to that right away then? So let me introduce Perry Baltimore, who's the president of the Marshall Legacy Institute, one of our NGO implementing partners. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very much, Assistant Secretary Talwar. Now it's time. We brought in our dog, flew up with its owner, Kimberly and Rachel. They're coming into the room now. You had a chance to see Senna a bit earlier, but we're very proud to have Senna with us. And let me come on down here, if I may, to do a quick little demonstration. As you can see, Senna's excited, and as the Secretary mentioned, these mines are insidious killers, and for all of the implementing partners that are here today, you know this only too well, and I know how proud all of you are of the great work that you do. But for the media and others assembled who don't deal with this on a daily basis, mines are kind of hard to find. And as you see over on the table, some of them are pretty small. And I even have one I carry around in my pocket. Don't worry, it doesn't have explosive material in it. People outside made sure of that. But it's pretty small, and this one's made of plastic. And like the Secretary said, some explosives are wrapped in paraffin and be hard to find. So if you're out with a metal detector or something like that, you might miss it. And all around the world today, you have wonderful, brave men and women probing the ground inch by inch, looking for something that shouldn't be there, that can hurt them, hurt their family, hurt their community. But they want to get rid of it. But they're hard to find, and that's dangerous work for men and women to do that. But dogs are a good part of the team, because they could help the brave men and women that are looking for these things, particularly when you have explosives that are not in metal, that are particularly hard to find. But the dog doesn't care what the container is. He doesn't care if it's metal, doesn't care if it's plastic, he doesn't care if it's paraffin, he doesn't care what the nature. Maybe it's in a box, whatever the explosive material in, the dog is sniffing for the explosive. So we have set up for you here today to give you just some sensing as to how the dog responds. Now, Senna's our hero. She did this work in Afghanistan for about 5 years, primarily in Kandahar, a very severely mine-affected area. And she did this brave work for that number of years, and now she's retired. But she says, well, if I'm retired, why do you have me here putting on a show? Well, we have Senna here with Kimberly and her daughter, Rachel, because they travel all around the United States to make people aware of these insidious killers so that we could provide more of these life-saving dogs around the world, of which there are about 900 today working in some 28 countries. So before you, in the fenced-in area, not barbed wire, but by the orange tape, is an area suspected of mine contamination. Somewhere in there may be a mine, something like this. And we'll just give you some sensing as to how the dog searches were this in an actual minefield. So, Ms. Kimberly, when you and Senna are ready, people often ask, why does Senna do this work? And particularly when we're in schools and we go to the children and we ask the children, why do they do the work? And the children usually say, to make a safer and better world. Well, that's precisely why we have Senna do the work. We're not sure Senna fully understands that, but she knows that if she does the work and does it well, she gets to play with the Kong. Check out the eyes, check out the ears. You can see she loves to do this work. She loves. And the only time she ever gets the Kong is that when she successfully finds the explosive. So now she's fired up, she's ready to go, and typically in a mine-affected country, it'd be about 6 o'clock in the morning when they start. About 5 in the morning, the dog goes through a test, and if the dog scores 100%, by 6 in the morning, the dog goes into a minefield. And if there's not too much moisture in the air, if there's not too much wind, we're ready to begin. So, Miss Kimberly, when you're ready to have Senna search the field, we'll see how she works. Well, she's a little confused here with it rolling out, and a little bit different in a minefield. But typically, the dog goes forward, always tethered to a 10-meter leash to the handler. The dog begins to sniff the explosive. Once the dog gets over the explosive, the dog sits, turns the head to the handler, and does not move, while the handler triangulates the spot. If this were the ground, they would put a flag into the ground, but the handler triangulates the spot where the dog sat. Once the area is marked, the handler will then give the command for the dog to give the command for the dog to come out of the lane.